phone and he called Donald Trump. And you have to understand, he said, President Trump, first of all, are you okay? Second of all, I'm very concerned about your family because I lost my uncle, John F. Kennedy. I lost my father, Robert Kennedy, to assassination. And I know what it's like for a family to go through that danger and that fear. Is your family okay? And then Donald said, I'm glad you called, Bobby. We need to talk. It is clear now that we have a common enemy. I've watched them censor you. They wouldn't let you on a debate stage. I watched them keep you off of every network, and now they're suing you to get you off the ballots in the 50 states that you've achieved, just like they're suing me. And Robert Kennedy said, you're right, Donald. We do have a common enemy, and it could destroy this nation as I know it. So those two guys came together, and one of the most courageous moves ever, they have joined forces. We're no longer talking parties. We're talking American citizens coming together to change the world. And look at this team, not just Robert Kennedy, Tulsi Gabbard, Elon Musk, J.D. Vance, Vivek Ramaswamy. It's the dream team. So don't let them tell you that this is a dictatorship. No dictator ever surrounded himself with so many dynamic individuals, each one of them with their own perspectives, their own talents. Robert Kennedy Jr. dedicated to making America healthy again. Tulsi Gabbard wanting to end the ridiculous wars all over the world. And Elon Musk about to take his AI and study every fraud that this country has ever done to us. That's how you run a country. That's how you change a nation. Abraham Lincoln did the same thing. During the Civil War, to bring everybody together, he put together the team of rivals. We have a team that has come together to really make a difference, and you need to vote now. So I want you to think about how this nation was created. That moment when our founding fathers signed their name to the Declaration of Independence. And they said, you know where I live. You know where to find me. Come and get it. And right now, we're all here, whether Democrats or Republicans, we are one-issue voters now. Together, we're united on one idea, the same idea that ran through our bloodstream of our founding fathers and runs through you now, and that is freedom. Freedom! 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 We got 12 days to let freedom reign. Thank you.
Let's hear it for Setema Ghali.
How you feeling tonight? You guys have got a lot of energy and excitement. But here's the reality, my friends. Here's the reality. Tonight, my mom and my dad, they don't even know that I'm here. See, my parents came from a different country, from Samoa. They crossed the Pacific Ocean because they believed in a dream of vision, a dream of hope, a dream of possibility, and I stand on the stage as one who is living a dream that my parents gave to me. Now, why does this matter to you? My dad taught me to listen to something called The Voice. He's like, son, I can see myself reading scriptures with my parents, saying prayers, going to church. My dad and mom would teach me, hey, when the voice speaks to you, listen. So last December, my sister Tulsi Gabbard, she says, Setema, I want you to come to this event in North Carolina, come shoot some guns with Green Berets. It's a charitable event. And I'm like, I don't want to go. It's Christmas. I'm moving from Florida to Las Vegas. I don't want to go. And yet the voice in my heart said, go. So I listened. So I show up to meet Tulsi Gabbard, and I've never met her in person before. And I sat with Tulsi. And as soon as I started to listen to her voice, I felt something. Shh. I felt the same feelings that I had felt praying, reading scripture, listening to my mom and dad. I felt the power of God coming through a woman as she talked about freedom. Now, why does this matter to you? I've never wanted to be at one of these things because I'm like, it's too divisive. It's too negative. I don't want it's too crazy. And yet, when I listened to Tulsi, I was converted like that. I was. And I was converted that it's like this. My voice and my vote matter, and your voice and your vote matters. So repeat after me. I can, I will, I must. We can, we will, we must. And we must vote. 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 Will you vote? Let's go.
Please welcome Galu Tagovailoa.
Test. Talofa. Thank you. Well, first and foremost, I want to give all the thanks and glory to our Heavenly Father. Especially my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. I just want to thank Him for giving us life, health, and strength. I'd also like to give a huge Fafitaitele to Donald J. Trump, and also our long family friend, Tulsi Gabbard, for this opportunity. It truly is a blessing to be here today. My name is Galu Tagovailoa, and my beautiful wife is with me, Diane Tagovailoa. We are the parents of some athletes with Tua Tagovailoa and Taulia Tagovailoa. I was born in American Samoa, a proud U.S. territory, raised in Hawaii, and now called the great state of Alabama my home. I'm proud to be representing the incredible Pacific Islander and the Polynesian community. We come from a heritage of strength, courage, and unity. We come from a culture where we protect our families and we protect our homes. We protect ours. Like all of you, we believe in the values that makes this country great. And those values are hard work, faith, family, and freedom. We are here to stand up for our values and to ensure that our voices are heard loud and clear. That's right. The American dream is alive. And it's a dream that belongs to all of us. Together, we celebrate diversity. But we also stand united behind the principle that makes this nation and the land of opportunity for all. It breaks my heart to hear the devastation caused by the wildfire in Maui and the hurricanes in Helene and Milton, taking so many lives and shattering families. But the fix from the current administration is $750 per family. Unbelievable. And we're told that the cause is climate change. Wow. But I'm not here to talk about the shortcomings of the current administration. I'm not here to do that. There are too many to list. I am here to tell you about the great things that President Donald J. Trump has done and will continue to do to make America great again. We are here because we believe in putting America first. So let me ask you, do we want safer communities? Yes. Do we want a secured border? Do we want a better economy? Do we want to lower prices on food, fuel, and housing? Do we want more money in our pockets? How about no taxes, especially in Vegas, no taxes on tips and overtime? Well, let me tell you, President Trump will give us all these things and more. President Trump will protect our country and our freedom. He will also bring common sense back to the Department of Education. He's going to give parents the say in the curriculum of their children and not allow the Department of Education to take over. He's committed to banning males from competing in women's sport because fairness matters. And guess what? I love this one. He is bringing back prayer into schools. Amen. Amen. So, as a proud Polynesian and a proud American, I know that we have shared history of overcoming adversity. And that's what makes us strong. We have the power to shape the future, to build a nation that honors our tradition while looking forward to an even brighter tomorrow. We need a leader who is strong, tough, smart, and willing to sacrifice for this great nation. There is no president in the history of the United States that has gone through what Donald J. Trump is enduring now. He has fought for us before, and he's still fighting for us today. So we the people, we must vote for Donald Trump so he can get back the America that we love and value we stand for, the America that is safe again. Together, we will make America strong again, prosperous again, and yes, we will make America great again. So in closing, I'd like to leave you all with my favorite scripture. It's 1 Corinthians 2, verse 9. And it says, "No eyes have seen, nor ears have heard, no mind will imagine what God has for those who loves him." And Mr. Donald J. Trump is a man that's after God's heart. So don't forget to go out there and vote. And I want you to buckle up and get ready for the ride, because Donald J. Trump will be our 47th president. So thank you. Thank you for having me today. And let's keep the spirit of aloha alive as we move forward together. God bless you all, and God bless the great United States of America. Thank you.
A warm welcome for Sam Brown.
Good evening, Las Vegas. Aloha. If I didn't know any better, I'd say there's some folks in here who want to win. Are you ready to put Donald J. Trump back in the White House? Are you ready to retire Jackie Rosen as your U.S. Senator? All right, Las Vegas, here's the deal. I come before you tonight as a humble warrior who has to thank God for the breath in these lungs and the life I still have. I also want to come before you tonight as the husband of Amy Brown. She's right down here. How many wives, moms, grandmas do we have out here today that are ready to fight for their country? All right, look, we're 12 days out from a historic win when President Trump is going to win Nevada, will win the Senate race, will retire Jackie Rosen, and will make America great again. Now, I know no one out here has seen any of the ads in the Senate race the last couple of months, right? Maybe some of you have. Well, let me tell you about the other side of Senator Jackie Rosen. The side of Jackie Rosen whose wealth has gone up 61%, while most of us are still trying to figure out how to pay for our rent, put food on the table. Let me tell you about Senator Rosen, whose neighborhood is more secure than our southern border, with fences, gates, and security guards. The good news is that a Senator Rosen, who's violated the Stock Act, who tells us she wants to ban members of Congress being able to buy and sell individual stocks, and has seen her net worth increase and holds hundreds of thousands of dollars of big pharma stock, she will be retired in 12 more days. You know, just 4 years ago, I was a volunteer for Donald J. Trump and worked rallies just like this. Thank you to the volunteers out there. Thank you to the people who've knocked on doors. Thank you to the people who've made phone calls. Thank you to the people who've harvested ballots. Thank you for the people who've been working at the polls. You will win. We need President Donald J. Trump back in the White House so bad. We have got to secure our southern border. We have got to confront the cartel. We have got to stop murderers murderers and terrorists from coming into our country. And President Trump will secure the border and put America first again. And I humbly stand before you as your nominee for Republican to defeat Jackie Rosen in these next 12 days. And we couldn't do it without you. Thank you so much, Las Vegas. Thank you for backing up President Trump. Thank you for backing me up. This win will not be my win, it'll be your win. Let me leave you with this, a lesson I learned 16 years ago on the battlefield of Afghanistan. As I was burning to death and literally came to a place where I gave up the will to live, God sent me a miracle in the form of one of my soldiers who screamed out these important words, "Sir, I've got you." Those words gave me a spark of hope. But it wasn't the words that saved my life. It was the action of him and others who came to my rescue and smothered those flames and gave me the hope to be able to continue to fight today. And so I leave you with this, Nevada. I've got you. Nevada, I've got you. President Donald J. Trump has got you. So let's win, let's vote, get everyone out to vote. God bless you, God bless the United States of America, and God bless those who put America first.
In Pennsylvania last month, Bobby called me to express his best wishes. In honor of Bobby, I will establish a new commission on assassination, and they will be tasked with releasing all of the documents pertaining to the assassination of President John F. Kennedy.
Maha Alliance is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage CEO of President Square Foods, Bob Unanue.
I have some friends here. We are blessed. Somos bendecidos. Buenas noches, familia. Family. Hola, aloha. We are blessed. Those words got me into trouble a couple of years ago when I said that about President Trump. We are blessed by our President, Donald J. Trump. We are blessed by Charlie Kirk and Turning Point. Thank you for tonight. There is no doubt that the hand of God is on President Trump. The hand of God is on us and this great nation, one great nation under God. So it sounds like I'm at the right rally. Jesus is Lord. A couple weeks ago, or a short time ago, two students yelled out, "Jesus is Lord." And what happened? Kamala Harris said you're at the wrong rally. Well, I believe she's in the wrong country. This is one country, one nation under God. Start learning that if you're going to want to be president, which you will not be. We don't want her country. That's Russia, that's North Korea, that's Venezuela, that's Cuba. That's people who do not, where communism prevails and they do not believe in God. We can't become her country. This is an existential election. If we become this country, we are done. But we will not be done. We have hope. So, if you believe in God, you're at the right rally. You're in the right country. If you believe in God, if you believe that God has called us each by name, if you believe you are valued, you're in the right rally. If you believe that God has given us a purpose, a reason to get up every day, God, family, and work, you're at the right rally. If you believe in getting up every day to work hard, create, and to give glory to God, you're in the right rally. If you believe in freedom and prosperity, if you believe in family, you're at the right rally. If you believe in loving God and neighbor as self, you're at the right rally. If you believe in a strong country and border protecting the most vulnerable. By the way, we went from 85,000 children not lost, sold, to 325,000 children sold. Jesus said, "Let the children come to me, for the kingdom of God is for such as these." Is such our children who are our present and our future. If you believe in safety and security, you're at the right rally. And if you believe we are blessed by God, if you believe that God's hands are on Donald Trump, and if you believe that Donald J. Trump will make America godly and great again, you're at the right rally and you're in the right country. Because with God comes hope, love, value, freedom, prosperity, and one great nation under God. President Trump, you are our hope. We believe God's hands are on you and that you will bring America closer to God. Amen.
Let's hear it for Danica Patrick.
Hello, Las Vegas. It truly is an honor to be here and in this movement with you. I'm with you guys. I thought to myself, what could I say to you guys today that would help Donald Trump get elected as president? That's the goal. And what could I talk to you guys about? And I thought back to a lesson that I learned in go-karting when I was young. So you go out on the track and you get timed, you time your competition, and you'd come in and I'd come in and my dad would say I was 2/10 quicker. And that just wasn't enough. We'd go out and we'd push harder, 4/10 quicker. Go out, push, not enough. And I remember when I was young how hard that felt, because I thought to myself, we're already so fast. But the lesson wasn't about being the fastest or just winning. It was about, how do I get the most out of myself to see my potential? So right now, we're looking pretty good, right? I feel like the polls look pretty good. There's a lot of good momentum. We need to be too big to rig, right? So how about we take a page out of this lesson that I learned from go-karting about how we can get the most out of ourselves. Has everyone in this room literally done everything that they possibly can? Have you helped people get down to the voting booths? Have you talked to people? Have you had uncomfortable conversations? Have you done everything you possibly can? Because let's not just win this election. Let's win it by more than anyone ever has. Let's win it by more than anyone ever will. And you know what? I just learned an interesting statistic. In 1984, when Reagan won the presidency, his opponent skipped the Al Smith dinner. And Reagan went on to win 49 of 50 states. Just saying. I believe that Donald Trump can not only make this country better than it's, not only make America great again. We've heard that. I think he can make it better than it's ever been. Yeah, I do. And here's why. Tulsi, Bobby, Vivek, Elon, Charlie, JD, Tucker. Like, we have an army of brilliant human beings that can truly make this country better than it's ever been before. Let's start out with thanking Donald Trump for introducing us to fake news, which leads to, right? That was an education. Which then leads to, let's get that First Amendment back and down with the censorship, right? Speaking of censorship, thanks Elon for buying X. Who's excited about him getting in for government efficiencies? Energy independence, the last time we were energy independent was with Trump. Only time we ever have been. Get that back. We've got AI race. We've got so many things that need it. How about Bobby and his efforts to get the soil back to where it should be, to get food, to get the chemicals out of our food, to come down on all of those big corporations that intervene with medicine to make us sick. Yeah. Secure our border. Deport illegal immigration, illegal immigrants, cost this country $150 billion a year. And how about let's just put an end to war? The last time, there was no wars under Donald Trump. I think this is the most important election of our lifetime. I really do. And I want to be able to say I love this country and not have that be divisive. And the last time I said that was December of 2023. I went to a Turning Point event in Phoenix called AmFest. And I said that afterwards. I said I love this country, posted a few pictures. And I couldn't believe the backlash that I got. And that's what started this whole movement, was from that point on. So, let's make it a country where we can say that and everybody cheers. Let's elect a president that's going to stand in the line of fire for us, literally. That doesn't have to do that job. He wants to do that job. And I'll leave you with this. This is a lesson that I learned at AmFest in December. Tucker spoke on stage, and he spoke a lot about speaking your truth. And I always thought I was a pretty good truth teller, but I still had room to grow, and this has been the area that I've grown the most. And so if it weren't for that speech, and if it weren't for me speaking my truth, because your truth, he says, is your superpower, then I wouldn't be on stage today talking to you guys. Vote for Donald Trump.
For Kash Patel.
Because I'm short. Ladies and gentlemen, we are on a mission together, and I'm asking you to join our mission tonight and fight for Donald J. Trump. And that mission is going to see him enter the White House on January 20th, because we are going to deliver the truth to the American people and the American voters that have been deprived of the truth for so many years. And our biggest enemy against that truth is the deep state. And we are on a mission to annihilate the deep state. And when the mainstream media and the Washington bureaucrats tell you there is no deep state, you tell them the following. You tell them then who were the ones in 2016 that used illegal campaign finance dollars from the Hillary Clinton campaign to go overseas and hire a foreign asset to create a fake dossier, only to have that dossier served up to the FBI so that they could lie to a federal court to be illegally surveilling Donald J. Trump. That's the deep state. And when they tell you that was a one-off, our intelligence communities aren't weaponized, you remind them that Christopher Wray, the FBI director, illegally surveilled 275,000 Americans in 1 year alone. That is a weaponization of justice and intelligence against you guys. And when you tell them, oh, they'll tell you that was another one-off. Well, then you go ahead and you talk to them about impeachment 1 and impeachment 2. And you tell them that they used an intelligence asset in the intel community to fabricate evidence against Donald J. Trump about Ukraine so that he could be impeached unlawfully. They weaponized intelligence yet again. That's the deep state and the corporate media back there that has been lying to you and robbing us of the truth. And they'll tell you that won't happen again. So what you do is you continue to impeachment 2. And you talk to them about the January 6th insurrection disinformation campaign. I was chief of staff of the Department of Defense and in the Oval Office days before January 6th when our brave president, Donald J. Trump, authorized 10,000+ National Guardsmen and women, only to have Nancy Pelosi and Mayor Bowser reject that authorization. And when you tell that, when they tell you, oh, that didn't really happen, you press play on the video that Nancy Pelosi made in the bowels of the Capitol on January 6th when she was too busy making a movie where she admitted she was responsible for the security failures at the Capitol. That is the hardcore truth, ladies and gentlemen, and we're going to deliver it to everyday Americans. You guys are the conveyor belts of the truth. You are going to put this mission first and watch Donald J. Trump take back this White House. And they'll tell you, oh, forget January 6th, forget impeachment 1, impeachment 2. They'll say, forget Russiagate. They'll say, none of that ever happened. That's just a distortion of reality. Well, then you tell them that the election rig from the last cycle, from the Washington deep state, the biggest con job in modern election history when they had 51 intelligence officials, including a Secretary of Defense, 2 CIA directors, an NSA director, and a slew of other people, write a letter they knew was a total fabrication a week before the last election to rob you of the truth and tell you Hunter Biden's laptop was Russian disinformation. You know, and I know it was a reality. And it's not a Republican or Democratic thing. It's a uniparty swamp monster thing. People like Bill Barr and Gina Haspel pushed that letter out even though they knew it was a total lie because they wanted to kneecap our duly elected president. So you have to go out there and deliver this message to our community. And the truth will see Donald Trump ushered into the White House. But we got 12 days to take this mission to the moon and back. And then they'll tell you, oh, that's never going to happen again. We got to vote for Kamala Harris. And let me bring this thing home, where it really hurts me the most as a member of the civilian service of our Department of Defense. We saw the disastrous Afghan withdrawal where 13 brave warriors were blown up by a suicide bomber that Harris let out of Bagram Detention Center, only to have Joe Biden check the watch on the flight line of the dignified transfer. Kamala Harris has had 1,300 days to call the 13 families. The only guy I know that spent hours with every one of those families is Donald J. Trump. And let me really bring this thing up to date. We tragically heard yet again about the gruesome murder of Vanessa Guillen, who was serving in our uniformed services and who was murdered 4 years ago. And what did the fake news and the corporate deep state do again? They redug up that murder and they used it to label a political hit job against President Trump. And they said President Trump would never pay for her funeral services. Well, I was in the Oval Office again, and what did he do? He said the Department of Defense is going to give her full honors, full military regalia, and make sure her family receives the financial assistance that she needs. And then Donald J. Trump showed us the man that he really is, and he said if the DOD won't pony up, then DJT was going to foot that entire bill. That's the kind of commander-in-chief I want. That's the kind of commander-in-chief I need. And if you all out there are ready to join our mission first mentality, and if you all are out there ready to get behind the greatest commander-in-chief of our lifetime, then sign up to end the woke industry in Washington, D.C., and remove DEI from our military and end the two-tier system of justice. We are no longer going to bend the knee to the corporate media and the deep state. Las Vegas, my home, Nevada, we are going to win this state for the first time for Donald J. Trump this year. And we are going to continue to do the one thing that they will never do, which is tell the truth. And we are going to put foot to ass for our country because DJT has done that for the last 10 years, and it's the least we can do for him. Nevada, let's bring this thing home and inaugurate Donald J. Trump on January 20th as our 47th Commander-in-Chief.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage, Jack Posobiec.
Ladies and gentlemen, I come here before you to make an announcement and deliver a message. The American people have woken up. The American people are now wide awake, and I know you, the people of Nevada, are wide awake. We are shining the bright light of truth on the shadow that is over the American Republic. Because we have sat back for far too long as our towns, as our cities have been turned into dumps. They've flooded us with infinite migrants, with illegal drugs, with violent crime, and we are here to say no more. We left our beloved towns, we left our communities, we packed our bags, and we said it'll get better. This'll all blow over, but it didn't. It got worse and worse and worse. And ladies and gentlemen, it was all done by design. By a godless, globalist elite that is hell-bent on breaking our spirit and turning us not into free citizens, but into mindless consumers. Well, I have a message for the globalists. You want to break our spirit? You will never break the American spirit. You will never break the human spirit. And you will never break our spirit because unlike you, we are not animated by selfishness, but by love of our homes, of our lands, of our forefathers, of our families, and the worship of the Almighty Lord, and He alone. Nothing you have done has been able to change this, and nothing you have done has been able to stop us. So in this election, we have a choice between one candidate who is controlled by that shadow over our republic, or the one man who is backed by the American people. Ladies and gentlemen, America is back. The American people are back, and we are so back. Now we must put this man back into the White House to finish the mission that he began back in 2016. We are going back to an America where a family can take their kids out to the drive-in under the stars and not worry about violent crime and not worry about how much the popcorn is gonna cost or worry about the oils that were used to make it or that the movie would teach them to hate their country or hate their people. No more. We are going back to the America that we came from. And to my two little boys who I know are watching right now, Jack, and AJ, once Daddy is done talking, it's time for bed, because it's a school night. But so for ladies and gentlemen, for my family and yours, for our freedom and yours, in just 10 days, we will help this man make America great again. Because we need leaders who were put to the test. And on July 13th, 2024, in a field in Butler, Pennsylvania, this man faced the ultimate test. He faced the test of whether or not he was willing to go all the way. And ladies and gentlemen, as I will tell you, Donald J. Trump is willing to pay for this country with his own life itself. That is the test that he has passed. Because we know that in giving that, he was told by his creator that he would be saved. And never let them tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that you did not see a miracle that day before your very eyes, that you did not see the hand of God reach down and save the life of this man. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness in this world and spiritual wickedness in high places. Therefore, put on the full armor of God. And when the day of evil comes, you will be able to stand, and you will stand. And when they ask you what you did when America was on the line, you will be able to tell your children and your children's children that you fought like patriots, and you fought like Americans. Ladies and gentlemen, God bless America, God save the Republic, and God bless Donald J. Trump.
Let's welcome Jorge Masvidal.
How's everyone doing? Let's go, let's go. First and foremost, I want to say Jesus Christ is King, you know? Just making sure I'm at the right rally. I know there's another rally, some occult stuff, some weird stuff, so I'm making sure I'm at the right one. How's everyone doing, huh? We good? Let's go. Let's get it right in here, because Mr. President is in the building, the POTUS is in the building. Let's get right. Come on. Make some noise for our boy. The eagle has landed. Check me out. My name is Jorge Gamebred Masvidal, and some of you might know me. No, I'm not a promoter at a club. For fighting in the UFC, having the fastest knockout in the world, and then the UFC created a belt called the BMF belt, and I was the first one to win it. But let me tell you, I'm humbled at this rally, at this event, because there's a real BMF here. There's a BMF much bigger than me. This is almost like the Loch Ness Monster, this mythical monster. This dude eats bullets and gets up to fight socialism. This dude that I'm talking about destroys wars all over the world. There's no wars when this guy's taking power. This mythological creature that I'm talking about is a real fighter, because shit, I fight for me, my kids, my mom, my dad, a couple of my friends, my lavish lifestyle. But this motherfucker, he fights for all of us. He fights for all of you. You feel me? That's a real fighter. And listen, man, I know all of you know, this guy's graced by God, man, blessed by God. Dodging bullets, dodging jail sentences, and then he gets up in everybody's face and says, what? Fight, fight, fight. So what are we gonna do? So what are we gonna do? Now after me, we got some real computer-like mother effers coming up. We got Charlie Kirk and Vivek. So they're gonna give you all those details and all that good stuff and data. I'm just here to talk to you like you're a bunch of fighters and I'm your coach, man. We gotta, hey, listen to me. Because we're winning right now, doesn't mean we could take a round off. Because we're ahead in the race, doesn't mean we could take this last mile off. Because we're chilling, we could bring the pace down. We gotta go harder than ever now these last 2 weeks. We gotta, and what I mean, and we're gonna fight. And this type of fight, we don't need no guns, we don't need knives, none of that. All we need is our brain, our voices, and maybe these cell phones so we can spread the word, all right? You gotta show up to the ballot box. 5 to 10 of your friends that are on the fence, you gotta get them to come up, show up, somehow, some way, you gotta do it. After that TikTok, just get your friends on it, you know? Talk to everybody you know, send them the stat sheet, you know? We're up against some people that maybe don't play the fairest, man. I mean, I'll tell you what, the Democrats suck all across the policies. I think we could all agree here, right? There's not a fucking city that I want to live in that's Democratic, man. It's just craziness, man. And no offense, because I love New York, I love California, but what they're doing is criminal. And then if there's not enough crime in there, they'll import the crime, right? So we could agree on one thing. Democratic policies suck. They're hypocrites, they're liars, they're gaslighting all the time. But I'll tell you one thing they're really good at, probably the best in the world. They're really good at voting, right? They're so good at voting that you don't even need to be a citizen. In some cases, wait, hold up. In some cases, even be alive, right? You feel me? So what do we need to do? No, but it's not just enough to vote. Let's go get 5, 10 of the people that are on the fence, because all of us here, we know what we're doing. We got to go out there and fight, man. Let our voice be heard. Tell everybody. I don't really like talking like this, but here I am, man. You know what I'm saying? Because we got to spread the word, right? And we're fighting pure evil because we saw it. Somebody said Jesus Christ is king. What did Kamala do? You're at the wrong assembly, right? So all my Christian people, all my religious people, we need to come strong, man. We can't be blaming fingers. A lot of religious leaders saying, I'm staying out of this race. I'm not voting for anybody because, you know, so-and-so this and so-and-so that. Listen, there's only one person that was perfect, and we all know who that is, and that's Jesus Christ. And Jesus is not on the ballot. But you know what? Donald Trump, a firm believer, a fighter for Jesus Christ, is on the ballot. And not just for the Christians, but for the Muslims, the Buddhists, anybody that wants to be able to pray in peace. Let's go. Trump is the only way. So what are we going to do November 5th? What we doing? What we doing? Huh? What we doing? Fighting. Let's go. Fight. 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 Let's go. God bless all of you.
Who's ready to win an election? Let's bring this thing home in 12 days, guys. We don't have a lot of time. And we're about to do this. This isn't going to be small. This is an opportunity for a historic landslide that actually unites this country. I'm listening to the old man, Joe Biden, the other day. What's he saying? Lock him up. I think, he wanted the Democrats to think he was talking about Donald Trump, but he was really talking about Barack Obama for getting him off the top of the stage. These people, I hope they learned their lesson, you know? You do it this badly. On November 6th, I hope they wake up and realize that identity politics never works in America. When you select somebody for their race and gender, it always ends up being a disaster. And I'm actually talking about Tim Walz this time, which is It goes both ways. We're in the middle of a national identity crisis. I've said that since day one. We need a commander-in-chief who's going to lead us back to who we are. Faith in God, patriotism, hard work, family. These things have disappeared only to be replaced by these new religions of wokeism or transgenderism or climatism or COVIDism. Depression, anxiety, fentanyl, suicide, you name it. We are hungry for what it means to be an American. What does it mean to be a citizen of this nation in the year 2024? It means we believe in the ideals of 1776. It means we believe in merit, that the best person gets the job regardless of their skin color, that you get ahead in the United States, not on the color of your skin, but on the content of your character and your contributions. That's why we're done with the DEI regimes, the quota regimes. That's what Donald Trump's bringing to the White House. It means we believe in the rule of law. And I say this like many of you in the audience. I say this as the kid of legal immigrants to this country. That means your first act of entering this country cannot break the law. And that is why if we've had the largest influx of illegal aliens into this country in American history, we will have the largest mass deportation in American history. That is not racist. That is not xenophobic. That is what it means to stand for the rule of law in the United States of America. It means the people we elect to run the government ought to be the ones who actually run the government, not the shadow government of the deep state and three-letter agencies that's running the show today. So you want to talk about mass deportations? Yeah, we'll talk about the millions of illegals out of this country. But the second mass deportation we really need is millions of unelected federal bureaucrats out of the DC bureaucracy. That is how you save a country. See, these aren't black ideas or white ideas. They're American ideals that we fought a revolution to secure in this country. We are in a war to revive them. And right now, more than ever, we need the commander-in-chief who will lead us to victory in that war. And that man is your 45th and 47th President of the United States of America, Donald J. Trump, who we are sending back to the White House. If you want to seal the border, vote Trump. If you want to restore law and order in this country, vote Trump. If you want to grow the economy in this country, vote Trump. If you want to keep us out of World War III in this country, vote Trump. If you want to revive national pride in this country, vote Trump. If you want to revive our national identity in America, vote Trump. And if you want to make America great again, vote Trump. This man will be the one who actually unites our country. We don't have to be this nation in decline that we've become. We're not at the end of the ancient Roman Empire. We don't have to be. We still can be a nation in our ascent, but we're going to have to wake up and make it so. It's not happening automatically. We're counting on you to do it. Nevada, get out there. I got 3 words for you. Vote, vote, vote. Give it to you real straight. I don't like early voting. I don't. I'm not a fan of it. I think in this country we need single-day voting on Election Day as a national holiday with paper ballots, government-issued ID to match the voter file, and English as the only language that appears on a ballot. That's what I think we need in this country. All right? But in order to get there, we got to actually win the election. You have to be able to win by the rules we have in order to change them to what they should be. So this one time, I don't love it, but this one time, do what we need to do to win. Vote early, play by the same rules as the other side. We play to win this time. We're not messing around. We're not going to be victims. We are going to be victorious. That's what our founding fathers did. That's what we're about to do in 2024. You see, 2024 is our 1776. I'll tell you a story. It's a story about the Democrat-led media that called him a traitor. They called him a dictator. They said that he would be an embarrassment on the world stage until a man took a gun and put a bullet in his body. And I'm actually talking about Abraham Lincoln. It's actually true. The first Republican president, it was the Democrat-led media that said those things about him 160 years ago, and yet here we are now. I truly believe Donald Trump is the George Washington of our moment. It is our 1776 in this country. They shot at him while he was crossing the Delaware, too. Didn't work with George Washington just like it didn't for Donald Trump. But this is our last chance as a country, especially my generation. I'm 37 years old. I was the youngest, I'm 39 now. I was 37 when I ran for U.S. president as the youngest person ever to run for president as a Republican. And I'll tell you what's going on with our generation, right? We're lost. We're hungry for a cause. We're hungry for purpose and meaning and identity at a time in our history where we've lost the things that used to ground us. All right, so the left will feed us their poison of race, gender, sexuality, and climate. And on November 6th, when we wake up to run to our own vision. Individual, family, nation, and God beats race, gender, sexuality, and climate if we have the courage to stand for our own vision. We're not just running from something, we are running to something. So this year when we deliver, and I'm going to use the L word, deliver a landslide, I hope, God willing, on November 5th. Then we wake up on November 6th to a new country. November 5th is not the destination, it is the start line. It is the start line for the revival of our country. If we don't get this before my kids are in high school, my older son's 4 years old. I was with him this morning before being with President Trump in Phoenix, and then we came here. I'm gonna be back with him tonight. If he's in high school before we get this right, I don't think we have a country left. That's the time horizon we're working with. But this is our chance to do it. Donald Trump's gonna do his part, I promise you that. Every one of the other people on the stage, they're gonna do their part. But I am now asking you to do yours, to make a sacrifice for our country in our hour of need, just like our founding fathers did. There were 56 men who signed the Declaration of Independence. I don't know what happened to them, we don't often ask. 12 of them had their homes ransacked and burned to the ground by the British. 5 of them were captured by the British and tortured until their deaths. 9 of them died in the American Revolution. 3 more of them had their own kids die in the American Revolution. They didn't do it for them. They did it for us so we could be here 250 years later enjoying the blessings of liberty in the greatest nation known to the history of mankind. And I refuse to be the generation that squanders it. We've been taught to celebrate our diversity and our differences for so long that we forgot all of the ways we are the same as Americans, bound by that common set of ideals. It is up to us to revive them. So 2024 is our 1776. We're gonna fight for it, so we will look our kids in the eye and mean it when we tell them, you get ahead in the United States of America with your own hard work, your own commitment, your own dedication. And that you know what, you are free to speak your mind at every step of the way. That is the American dream. That is what we are running to. That is what won us the American Revolution. That is what reunited us after the Civil War and World War I and World War II and the Cold War. That is what still gives hope to the free world. And if we can revive that dream over group identity and victimhood and grievance, then nobody in the world, not a nation, not a corporation, not a virus, not China, and certainly not Kamala Harris or Tim Walz is gonna defeat us. That is what American exceptionalism is all about, and that is what we will revive to save this great nation. Thank you all and your families. May God bless you and our United States of America. Do not stop fighting, guys. Let's get this done. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage Marco Rubio.
Thank you. That guy's electric, Vivek. Isn't he electric? That guy's awesome. Huh? He's great. All right, it's great to be here in Nevada. Great to be back. Did you guys, how many of you are from Nevada? Most of you, right? Notice how I said Nevada, not Nevada. I lived here. I grew up here. When I was 7 years old, we moved here. People said, how'd you guys move all the way over there? I said, simple. They had jobs for people like my parents. And we lived here. When I lived here, talking about like 1980 through 1985, it was not the kid-friendliest place in America. There wasn't that much to do, to be honest. I mean, there was an ice skating rink in Henderson when nobody even knew where Henderson was. It was where the ice skating rink was. And I've just seen this place grow so dynamically. And now I got to tell you guys, you're at the center and at the heart of this election. You really are. I truly believe that how this state goes is how this election is going to go. And Vivek mentioned a moment ago, we were just with President Trump in Arizona, and Arizona had a message. They're like, they're going to do their part. Ask Nevada if they're going to do their part to save our country and make it great again. So they want to know if you're going to do your part. And every time that I come here, I'm reminded of my childhood, and I think that's important because I think about my parents for a moment. My parents were immigrants from Cuba. There's Cubans here? All right, be careful with the Cubans. Be careful with the Cubans. My parents were immigrants. They didn't really go to a lot of school in their own country. My dad was nothing more than, he was a bartender at Sam's Town. And I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to start dating myself. My mom was a maid at the Imperial Palace. That's back when they used to have this thing. That was our family outing. We used to go see this thing called Legends in Concert, which was, so old-timers remember Legends in Concert. It was like a fake Elvis, and it was like either one week it was the fat Elvis, the other week it was the skinny Elvis. Marilyn Monroe, whatever. My point is, that's the jobs they had. And you know what my parents were able to do with those jobs? A bartender and a maid? They owned a home. We didn't get to go to a lot. I mean, we didn't have everything we wanted. We had everything we needed. And the most important thing my parents were able to achieve is they were able to leave all 4 of their children better off than themselves. If there weren't any taxes on tips, the way Donald Trump is going to do, maybe we would have had more than what we wanted. But anyway, my parents achieved the American dream. They were never rich, they were never famous, they never owned more than one home. In fact, we never owned more than one car, primarily because my mom didn't like to drive, but they never owned more than one car. But they lived the American dream. They didn't leave us any money, they left us something even more important, and that is the chance to be anything we wanted to be. And that's possible because I was born a citizen of the greatest nation in the history of all mankind. And it's important to remember that. It's important to say that. You never hear that on the other side. Not enough. When the other side talks about the greatness of America, it always comes with an asterisk. Yeah, we're the greatest country in the world, but... and they'll fill in something we don't do right or something we did wrong 200 years ago or 150 years ago. Guys, I've never claimed that America's history is perfect, by the way. I've only claimed that our history is better than anybody else's history by far. We are a nation of progress and of opportunity, a nation that has changed the world and inspired the people of the world. But it's in trouble. You know it's in trouble. We know it's in trouble. It is a nation whose borders are not secure. We're not secure. This is not immigration. What's happening on our border, that's not immigration. That is mass migration. That is a total breakdown and total chaos, and it's by design. And that needs to stop. That is the choice in this election between a president, Donald J. Trump, who gave us the most secure border in modern history, and Kamala Harris, who as Vice President of the United States was the border czar and has allowed this country to be overrun by millions and millions of people from all over the world. My parents were able to achieve the American dream like so many of you, because when I grew up, bacon didn't cost $150 or whatever the crazy price is now. And that's the choice in this election. Between a man, when he was president, we had an economy where prices were stable, salaries were going up, and people could afford to have a little bit of money left over at the end of the month, against Kamala Harris, who has presided over runaway inflation, an unaffordable an unaffordable economy, a stale and stagnant job market, no matter what they tell you. Your paychecks are not keeping pace with prices. They've destroyed our economy and set us back. It's a choice. It's a choice between a president who had us on the road and had us right there at the precipice of complete and total energy independence. We don't have to worry about any other country in the world. We can fuel our economy because God has blessed us with those resources, and we were doing that under Donald Trump. And a vice president who wants to keep us from using our natural resources and wants to force everyone to have to drive an electric car. And I like the guy who makes a lot of the electric cars, by the way. I'm not anti-electric car. I'm not anti-electric car. I've always called them golf carts, but I'm not against anti-electric car. I'm not banning them. But you can't run a modern economy on electric cars and solar panels. You just can't. You can't do it. And we have an opportunity to generate our own energy, and it's clean and it's American. That's the choice. So what do you do? What do you do if you know you can't run on your record? And Kamala Harris can't run on a record. She was asked the other day, what would you do different than Joe Biden? I can't think of anything. And this was on The View, so it was like in the morning, 8 people were watching, and so she wasn't tired. And she couldn't think of a single thing she would have done different. That tells you everything you need to know. We can't afford another. If we have another 4 years like the last 4 years, you won't recognize your country. You won't. A President Biden-Harris administration that had us humiliated in Afghanistan, absolutely humiliated. In fact, it's not a coincidence that after Afghanistan happened, Ukraine happened, October 7th happened, all the stuff China's doing against the Philippines happened, and maybe Taiwan soon enough happened, because they said, this guy's weak, Joe Biden, and America's weak because he's weak, and we can get away with it. That wasn't happening under Donald Trump. Under Donald Trump, the head of the #1 terrorist in the world that worked for Iran, Soleimani, he died. ISIS wiped out. No wars were started. Ukraine wasn't invaded. Israel wasn't invaded. The world was safe. And by the way, that guy in North Korea, he stopped launching missiles. That's the strength we need in our country again. That's what this election is about. Saving our country, restoring our country, so your children, your grandchildren can inherit what we inherited, the greatest country in the history of the world. This election is about saving America, and there's only one way to save America. We have to win in Nevada. We have to win that Senate seat with Sam Brown. You got to come out and vote for him. He needs your support as well. And you need to do a huge service to your country. You need to make sure that everyone you know turns out and votes, so that in about, 12 days now? Less than 12 days, we will once again have a president, Donald J. Trump, running this country, saving this country, and making it what it belongs, a great country. Thank you and God bless. Thank you.